What's going on, guys? My name's Dale. I stream on Twitch. You can catch me at twitch.tv/thatguydale3. I'm also on YouTube as thatguydale3 and also on TikTok under the same handle. But today, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Hunter, my favorite class in Legacy, Steel, and Sorcery. This game is awesome. I've been loving it. I have over 200 hours played already. Mostly PvP, just running it down, trying to catch fights. And I wanted to talk to you guys about Hunter gear specifically. If you guys want more of an overview in terms of like skills, what to run, how traits work with the class, and things that you should be looking at in PvP fights, we can definitely do that. But for now, I want to talk to you guys about the different gear options, the different bows, what's some pros for these things, and what's some cons for these things. The other day I was streaming on Twitch and a guy came in and he asked, can you give me like a down and dirty on like what's the best hunter gear to use? And I'm like, yes, with an asterisk point, because I can't really tell you this is the goated set for every style of hunter, because every style of hunter uses different gear. We're going to be talking about three main categories of gear, and that's going to go into different types of bow uses and different types of engagement and team comps. For starters, I run this middle set of gear. That is the Elven Autumn hides with the Windstrider's leaf plates, the Eagle Feather scale mail, and the Eagle Feather helmet. I'm mostly a longbow player. As you can see that most of my inventory is full of longbows. I like big damage, big burst, pop somebody with like headshots or heavy body shot damage, as well as like flying seed bombs. That's my playstyle personally. If you're a medium bow or a swift bow user, this might not be the best gear set to run. You can run some different options, like for instance the Elven Sylvanborn. But let's start on the number one thing about Hunter, the legs. So there's really only one go-to all-around best in slot BIS piece of leg armor, and that's going to be your Elven Autumn hides. They use, when you use evade, any kind of evade, just a roll, you generate swiftness. And when you get into playing Hunter, yes, hitting your shots is the most important thing in Hunter, which also generates swiftness. But every Hunter special ability, that Sentinel Cyclone, Sentinel's Call, or Sentinel Strike, requires swiftness to cast, and they have different minimum requirements. If you don't have Elven Autumn Hide pants, you are basically at a disadvantage. It's really hard without just hitting a couple of quick shots in a fight to generate the swiftness to be able to use your special abilities, your number 3 ability by default. So the honorable mention might go to the Windstrider's leaf straps, because you can use what's called the air vault. That's when you jump and evade simultaneously. It does that backflip kick off of players or off of enemies, or you can just do it midair for iframes. You can also generate swiftness, but when you're chasing someone or you're being chased, having to do like a 180 backflip to maintain momentum just to generate swiftness to say pull off a Sentinel Cyclone, it's kind of clunky, it's hard. The only time I will really ever run this is if I'm doing a 0 to hero run and I have no choice. The third option is completely niche, and it's the Eagle Feather leg plate. I can only really see this as like a niche build if you're going into full poison with the poison cloud spores, maybe like an anti-heal type of kind of like a hunter build with a medium bow, maybe a long bow. And you're just, when you have poison buildup, the spore cloud, it happens 25% faster. And then when you compare, or when you put that in, together with the shoulder plate, then you can grant some swiftness. But 3 swiftness at the end of the day, it's not that good. There's way better options for generating swiftness. So that's why you'll almost never see someone in these pieces unless they're a green piece and the rest of their gear is like white or gray. And they're just looking for the extra defenses and the damage upgrade. So that's pretty much it for legs. There's 3 options: the Eagle Feathers, the Windstriders, and the Elven Autumn hides. It's definitely Elven Autumn hide is up on top, with a second for Windstriders, and Eagle Feather, it's niche to dog tier if depending on who you ask. Now let's go into shoulders. Shoulders, I personally run the Windstriders, and there's a reason for this. I typically play longbow and I play in trios a lot. So I'm looking to reposition, I'm looking to chase people down, I'm looking to run away, And when I set down a Sentinel Cyclone, if I snare anyone with the Windstrider's Leaf plates, which Sentinel Cyclone does snare, as well as leg shot snare, I get a burst of move speed. This can be very good for chasing people down and also getting away from people. It can really like be the difference maker between that rogue and that priest. It's like running at you at Mach 10. You know, the difference between you getting away and you getting absolutely clowned. So I prefer Windstriders. I think they're BIS. Second, again, goes to Elven Hawkplate. This is really good because if you're using Air Vault, especially now that Air Vault grants iframes, thank you, Legacy, for making that change. Before, Air Vault was just so bad. Like, you would get smacked down by warriors every time you try. It wasn't even worth, like, even attempting a lot of times. You just roll through them instead. The Elven Hawk plates are really good because they do generate swiftness when you use Air Vault on an enemy. Now, that's definitely a lot harder to pull off constantly. So that's why Elven Autumn Hides are still so good, because you don't need an enemy around you to generate swiftness. And as you'll see with certain types of hunter gameplay, you need to be generating a lot of swiftness, right? And we'll talk about that at length later. Third and not least, again, a very niche pick, the Eagle Feather shoulder plates. They're just so bleh. Poison Affliction. I'm sure there's some freak out there that's dropping spore bombs on people and like crushing teams. I'm sure they're gonna make a couple YouTube videos about it, but it's just such a niche build. No one runs it. Even the Swifty hunters that just get on top of you, the Swiftbow users that are just cycloning on top of your head and like just mobbing you down as fast as possible. Like they almost never are running it. The Eagle Feather shoulder plates. They're niche, almost dog tier. Like they're just really bad. Now let's talk about chest. Chest, I think chest and helmets are the most flexible, with some exceptions, in the hunter kind of cookbook. And the reason for that is because the things that they do give you are they're okay. They're not game breaking though. The game breaking changes for hunter really come from the Elven Autumn Hides and whatever bow you're using. The other gear is very flexible. So we'll talk about the Elven Silverboard tunic first. A lot of people have been starting to use more Sentinel Strike. It's a very good tool for extra DPS. Versus PvE, it's fucking awesome because you can really generate a lot of swiftness very quickly with like a medium bow or a swift bow. And when you're over those 4 bars of swiftness, you can insta cast your Sentinel Strike and put down like 300 to 350 damage like every time you're at that swiftness. Now with Elvenborn Silver, or the Elven Silverboard tunic does is if you Sentinel Strike someone through like LOS, like they're behind a tree and they're hiding from you, you can snare them, which means you slow them, and then you can basically reposition, B-hop around, and you can get shots on them when they're already slowed. So that's pretty cool, but it's not like game breaking. You're not always going to be hitting targets out of LOS. So it's still very niche. So there's also, for instance, the Eagle Feather Scale Mail. This is the chest piece that I use the most because I use the Flying Seed Traps. Flying Seed Traps are the little flying bombs that have like the leather kind of like helicopter wings on them. They're awesome for zoning. They're awesome for sticking onto things as like a kind of trap. And when you hit an enemy with them with the Eagle Feather Scale Mail, it snares them. So this could be another tool to counter, say, like rogues, counter priests that get to like onto you, counter warriors, any kind of class that's looking to like mob up on top of you. You can use the Flying Seed Traps with the Eagle Feather Scale Mail to be able to buy you some space, because Hunter is all about, with the exception of Swiftbow users, Hunter's all about getting space and being able to play your class. And when melee crushes on top of you, it becomes very difficult to pull off a lot of what you have to do. So I prefer Eagle Feather Scale Mail. Then the third option, obviously, we're not including junk gear in this list. We don't have to talk about junk gear. It doesn't do anything. It just gives you a little bit of defenses. That's literally all. But the Windstrider Leafborn Tunic, this is for Swiftbow users. So it's good because Swiftbow users really don't get a lot of options for gear. This is like the one piece of gear that actually synergizes with their bow. The cyclone that you create by wind strike, which is your right click double, like your bam bam, you right click twice, you smack with your bow, and then you create like a little tornado. It snares enemies, so it'll slow them. At that point, you're basically looking to like, wind strike someone, maybe air vault off of them, get off of another volley of swift bow shots. It can be nice for kind of keeping someone in place, but it's still pretty niche. I feel like on Swiftbow Hunter, I see a lot of people use Eagle Feather Scale Mail still, or if they're running Swiftbow with Sentinel Strike, I even see them running Sylvan Board Tunics. That's why I said like chess pieces in the Hunter class are very interchangeable. They're not going to really make or break the class. Um, Now, finally, for the rest of the worn gear, and we're not going to talk about rings. That could be a whole nother video, honestly. Let's talk about the three main options for helmets. So if you're a medium bow user, you have one option. You use the Elven Gallier, I guess is how you Gallet. If someone knows how to, pronounce that, definitely hit me in the comments, dude, because that's a I don't even know. Is that like a Gallic word or something like that? I'm just not even familiar with it. But your Elven dancing does increase damage. Awesome. We all love extra damage. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't have a medium bow and you're not being able to cast Elven Dance, the only thing this piece of gear will do for you outside of physical and elemental armor, if it's green or above, it'll give you a little damage, but it's not synergizing with the other bows any kind of way. So this is for medium bow users. Now the other two, these are the bulk of what you'll probably see. The Eagle Feather Helmet is, I would make an argument if you play in a heavy melee comp that likes to get up on top of people and you're having to stand your ground without a lot of peel. I would say the Eagle Feather Helmet is probably your best in slot, because you can put an additional trap down. Bramble traps, shock beetles, regular bear traps, having the ability to zone not only with flying seed traps on the ground, but extra bramble traps. They nerfed warrior charge, so now they can't charge through bramble traps. That's huge, because now you can actually stand toe to toe with warriors and not get absolutely clapped. So Eagle Feather helmets are fantastic for that. And this is the main one that I run. But I would also make a very strong case for Windstrider's Diadem Guard. Now, this thing gives you maximum swiftness, and we know that some of the abilities, the amount of swiftness that is cast to use that ability changes either the duration or the damage. So for Sentinel Strike, it scales damage based on how much swiftness is cast for the Sentinel Strike. And then for Cyclone and for Sentinel's Call, you're getting extra duration based on how much swiftness you have. So more swiftness equals more duration or more damage. Depends on what you're running. So yeah, that's pretty much all the worn gear. Now let's move on to a brief discussion about bows. I've put the 3 bows. Of course, the game just closes out right in the middle of my video. My bad, guys. Give me 1 second. Gotta love early access games, right? Hopefully this doesn't completely crash. That would suck. All right. So back to what I was saying. So I've put down what I think are probably the best in slot bows in each of the classes. Now, granted, disclaimer, I am not a Swiftbow user. So if any Swiftbow users out there and tells me like, yo, Crestwind Swiftbow really isn't it, it's this bow instead, dude, I'm more than happy to be corrected. I don't play with that bow. It's not my playstyle. I don't really like it. But I can definitely say with full confidence, longbow and medium bow. So we'll start there. It's hands down not even a freaking discussion. The best in slot longbow is Ember Branch. I don't care what anyone says. We'll pull up even the other bows just so that you can see them real quick. Excuse me. So Ivory Wind, this thing, your Eagle Stance, everybody knows that Eagle Stance is a meme. Like, I mean, look at like Airly on YouTube and Twitch. Dude has the freaking Q ability bound to equal sign, right? Like, it's literally so bad. It's like, Rogue, please stab me right in the butt cheeks. Like, it just makes you immobile. The extra damage is miserable at best. You're better off just being more mobile, like any hunter worth the salt, his or her salt. You got to be on the move, right? So like Eagle Stance sucks. Ivory Wind Longbow sucks. The only time I'm ever picking this up is this Zero to Hero run. Yippee, I have a longbow, but man, do I want an Ember Branch. Elder Bark, you can use this, but there's not a lot of time where you're going to be literally tracking an enemy and generating that extra swiftness, because that's this greatly increases the swiftness you gain while carefully aiming at targets. You literally have to track on top of the target, and then every once in a while you get a burst of swiftness. It's not that good. And the quick draw shots on Elder Bark and Ivory Wind Longbow, they're not really good against melees. That's why Ember Branch is just the goat. The speed at which you charge your bow shots is slightly increased. Your full draw shots are faster. Your quick draw shots are faster. The bow is just the most fluid longbow to use. You got to use it. If you're using anything else on longbow, I don't know what you're doing. Good luck. You know, like I don't know what to tell you. For medium bow, now there's two bows. I mean, any of the medium bows are honestly fine, but I'd say that there's two bows that are like the most useful. Glade Piercer's gonna probably be the best one. This was especially, and another disclaimer, I never used the Elven Dance explosive arrow exploit. I thought it was cheesy, so I refused. But if you were like running that crazy Elven Dance spam, Glade Piercer was where it was at, because you get reduced stamina cost for Elven Dance, and you couple it with the Elven Dance, you know, helmet. You're hitting harder, less stamina use. You can just spam them. It's kind of GG. I personally like Briarheart because I like that satisfying headshot damage. You know, if I can hit somebody in the head, which is my intention the entire time, I'm a Counter-Strike player. At the end of the day, I'm still trying to hit headshots in a fantasy game, right? I like dealing increased damage. You already get the increased damage or headshot multiplier from your traits. Getting a little extra from Briarheart just is that much more satisfying. Amberthorn, when your bow is fully drawn, you become unstoppable. That's cool, I guess, if someone's trying to like stagger you to death and you pull off a long charge and they're just doing damage to you and you can like shoot them right in the face. Problem with medium bow is you're never going to be doing enough damage to really make a difference. The big benefit of medium bow is that you can stagger people off of you if you hit them in the chest. And if you hit them against a wall, you can pin them, which stuns them for a short duration. But again, Amberthorn, if you find like a blue or something, cool, but like definitely Glade Pierce or Briarheart. That's going to be your bread and butter. Now, I will briefly talk about swift bows because I'm not a swift bow user, but Crestwind swift bow, in my opinion, one of the things that makes swift bow users so oppressive is if they can stick on top of you and they can keep their wind volley locked onto you and they can keep spamming you with those quick 3-round burst, you know, arrows. That's how they're gonna like really like whittle you down, because swift bow is definitely not about big damage burst. It's about constant, steady kind of like tacks. So Crestwind is probably gonna be your best. The Silverleaf, you get the tornado volley lasting a little bit longer. I guess for PvE that's kind of cool, or if you're trying to like, you know, because if a player gets caught up in a tornado volley, all they have to do is iframe out. So it's really not gonna change the game against PvP. And Woodsong, I mean, your cyclones, they travel back after it reaches its destination, slowing enemies. Or your wind strike, that's gonna be your double right click. I mean, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's not making it breaking the game. I think Silverleaf is probably just gonna be, or excuse me, Crestwind is just gonna be your best bet. You're constantly looking to mount pressure on. You're gonna be running Swiftbow Hunter when you're running like Rogue and Priest, or like Priest and Warrior. Any class is trying to just jump on top of someone and lock them the heck down, right? So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about Hunter, give me a buzz. I don't see a ton of videos out there outside of like, yo, this is broken, I got this without using Cyclone. For the most part, every type of Hunter is playable, and I really enjoy that about this class. I feel like this class, despite what some of the community feels about it, I feel like it's one of the most fair classes in the game. Unless you get caught out in a field, then I mean, like, yeah, that sucks, man. I hope they miss their shots on you. But you know, like, there's a lot of things that counter hunter. There's a lot of things that hunter count. Well, there's not really a lot that hunter counters per se. I feel like if you lose a fight against a hunter on some classes, like, it's usually, you know, it's a hard fight for the hunter unless they're just really goated and they hit every shot. So I enjoy just trying to get better at this class every day. I've been running games with the boys. I've been having a lot of fun. Um, if you guys don't mind, after checking out the video, if you could leave a like on the video, comment what you thought. If you have any suggestions for the video, or you have some counter opinions, bro, let me hear them, dude. Throw them in the comments. If you want to hear any other stuff, like you want me to talk about specific class skills, or you know, areas of the map that I think are really good for hunters to fight in, shoot me some comments, shoot me some messages. You can catch me on Discord. You can catch me on Twitch. On Twitch, you can get a invite to my Discord channel. You just do !Discord and it'll take you there. But yeah, come check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/thatguydale3, and appreciate your time. Much love. Peace.